Welcome back, everyone, to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie, Director of Ignite, sparked by BBB. We're here in the Ignite podcast studio. I have Josh here again with me.
Good morning.
Good morning. And a very special guest, I have Miss Sharyn Mann.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're with River City Staging?
Yes, River City Home Staging.
Perfect. Okay, so I love this because every time I move, and I've moved quite often, I can't wait to decorate my house. So tell me a little bit about what it's like.
Well, I love it. I've been decorating since I was around 13 years old. I'll tell you, my first adventure was I dragged all my bedroom furniture outside and painted it.
Really?
Much to my mother's chagrin. Because she had no idea that was going to happen until she came home and found the brown furniture white.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but I didn't get in too much trouble because it came out pretty nice.
It looked good, so it was okay.
But my grandmother really was the one who sewed and decorated and all that, and I kind of helped her out with that type of stuff.
Wow.
So I wanted to do something and use that love of decorating, and so I decided to get certified as a home stager. And most of that for home staging is people that want to sell their home, but buyers nowadays, they want to envision themselves in your home. So if they come in a lot of times and the room's empty, they can't see it as being homey. So I try to go in and create that vision for them. And what I try to do is stay with the trends and colors and that type of thing, and appeal to a broad base of clients so that when you do an open house, when you want to sell your home, you're not just attracting one type of client. I want you to be able to attract a wide range of clients. So I've been doing that for a while, and just recently expanded into interior design as well, which is different because with interior design, it's mostly people that are going to stay in their home and they want something fresh and new, and just redecorating like you mentioned. So it's a little different because I have to come in and talk about what you like and what you can live with, whereas with home staging, it's more what other people can live with.
Yep.
But the interior design part for me is about what you like and making it so that when you come in, you feel comfortable with the colors I picked and the furniture I picked and that type of thing.
How often do your clients come to you and it's either been that their home has been on the market for far too long and then they come to you, or they come to you right away?
Most of them now are coming to me right away because they know that home staging is pretty much the way to go, and most realtors are recommending that now.
Perfect.
So, yeah, it's more an immediate thing now.
Do you focus only in the Richmond area?
Richmond, Petersburg, Chesterfield, on the metro area.
Perfect.
Yes.
I'm actually selling my townhouse in Charlottesville, so I was wondering if you'd go all the way to Charlottesville.
I would.
Josh, do you have any questions for Sharyn?
I honestly, it's just nice to see your face. I know we've been talking on the phone forever, but I know you were talking about how certain people, like, you have to adhere to kind of maybe like a common design that everyone likes. What are those things that like kind of appeal to like almost everybody, or like a broad source of people?
Well, I think if you stay with whatever, so many people now watch HGTV that when you look at stagers and designers now, they think you have all the fancy tools and they want their houses to be transformed like the transformations they see on TV.
Yeah.
And it's just not quite that easy. But most people want neutral colors, and that's what I recommend most of the time, is that you stay neutral because certain colors can turn off a buyer. But I try to stay neutral, and I try to stay trendy.
Okay.
Trendy meaning, if contemporary is what's going on at the time, then we'll do contemporary. But it's funny because I'll go into houses and they'll kind of speak to me and tell me, like I can walk into a room and that room will tell me what color it should be painted.
Oh,
I
wow.
know that sounds strange, but that's how my brain works. I know what color it should be. And from that point, I usually find one object. Like if I come in your home, I find that piece of artwork or that one piece of furniture you love or something you say, well, I can't get rid of this because this was my grandmother's, and I'll build on that. I'll build my design based on that. I just did one for a lady that the room is a sunroom, and it sits right on behind the Swift Creek Reservoir. Mm-hmm. Beautiful room. The thing is, 3 sides of it are glass. Oh. So, there's really not any wall to put furniture up against. Well, if you get the right furniture, you don't need walls to have it against. Okay. But a friend of mine sent me some pictures from her trip from Peru, And when I saw the beach signs, it immediately made me think of that room. So I went with the ocean blues, the yellow, and like the sandy brown from the beach that I saw from the sand on the beach. And I took that and developed my plan from that. So like I said, something will spark me,
Yeah.
and then I can grow my design from that.
Okay. Because I can
love
see even like what you said, like kind of looking around the environment and like the neighborhood that it's in, being like,
Yeah.
okay, I can kind of get a sense of what I'm looking for out of this house.
Yeah. And when people are selling, especially, I'll ask them what demographic of buyer do they think they may have. Like I did a house in Chester, and the gentleman told me that every house in that neighborhood, the people that lived there then, their parents had lived in those houses before then. So there were no young kids, no elementary, no babies. But he had a small room that could have been a nursery. But why spend money to make it into a nursery when you know that's not what you're going to attract as a buyer in that area?
Yep.
Okay.
That makes sense, actually. How many homes do you see popping up on the market right now?
There's a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of homes. Like, yeah, the market is really booming right now, especially out in this area where we are.
When you talk to your customers, do you talk to them about any potential scams or anything like that from other stagers that they should be aware of?
No, what I do though, I have a profile on Thumbtack. That's where I get most of my leads through. What I do is tell them, I have a list of things on there they should ask the stagers. Like, do you rent the furniture? Is the furniture, well, all stagers pretty much rent their furniture. I actually use a rental company because they're constantly changing their inventory. That way I can design based on what they have and the trends that they usually stay very current.
Up to date,
And
yeah.
up to date. And it's less overhead for me as a business owner, and it gives you more variety.
Yep. You don't
as
have
a
to stick with the
customer.
same stuff that you have.
Right. Because everything when you have your own inventory, you won't use that in every single house. You'll use parts and pieces of it. But I don't find that there's a lot of scams in home staging. I think, though, you have to ask questions.
The
like,
right questions to them. What are some questions that you would ask a home stager?
Well, for me, it's like, again, how much would it, well, of course you want to know cost. What does that cost include? Does it include the cost of the furniture, or is that separate? Now, when you go through a company like I do, that cost is going to be separate from my labor cost.
Yep.
So you want to ask things like that. Does it involve being delivered? Do I have to be at home when all this is going on? Or, most of the time you don't. For me, you don't. My first house, the guy was nice enough to give me the code, let me take care of everything.
Really?
You want to know things like, will you get some say-so in the design itself? And I do let customers into that space to not get I don't want to call it approval, but I want them to get the vision of where I'm headed with the design, because they know their home the best. And it turned out my first guy, it was funny because he kept saying, I got to ask my wife about this. Well, they were moving to New York, and his wife was already gone. And I'm like, okay, is he thinking only a woman can make these decisions? Well, after getting to know him, I realized, he finally told me that his wife was a designer as well, but she did designs for productions in New York. So then it clicked and it made sense to me. But to me, a big part of this business is actually getting to know the client.
Yep.
Know who they are and what they're actually, because it's not that they're just selling their house. It's that they're a person and they have, again,
There's a personality that comes along with it.
And so it all made sense. But if I hadn't have gotten to know that, I thought he was just kind of second guessing me, because he's like, okay, a woman needs to make these decisions because it's regarding decoration. So I've got to check with her on everything. But that also said to me, okay, I'm going to miss my deadline if he has to check every decision.
Yeah.
So I had to start kind of giving him some deadlines. Say, okay, that's great, and you check with her, but I need to know by so-and-so date, or else we may miss out on this particular piece.
And that's important because you want to make sure that they're able to sell their home in time, but you don't want to be penalized if there's delays because you're doing your job.
And I've got to get my deliveries and things scheduled.
Yep.
So, yeah.
like the rental company that sends the
Yeah.
furniture.
which is great because they take care, and that's the other reason I went that direction, is because they take care of all the delivery and the pickup of everything. I always supervise it. I'm always there when the furniture's delivered to make sure we get what I asked for, and I'm always there when they pick it up to make sure that they only take what they brought.
Yeah.
So yeah, I supervise. That's a part of what I do in my fee is I supervise that.
Perfect. What's your favorite project that you worked on?
My favorite one for home staging was the house in Chester.
Really?
Yeah, it was a beautiful rancher. I would have bought it myself if I wanted to move to Chester, but it was a beautiful, and he had just had everything redone. He had the kitchen completely redone, new hardwood floors throughout. It was really a beautiful house, and it had a garage attached to it, and he had actually turned that into he put a bathroom back there in the office. Really? It would have been perfect, and it had its own entrance. It would have been perfect for somebody like, maybe an architect or somebody professional that worked at home, because you didn't have to come through the house in order to get to that office part. He had another entrance put on that was like right across on the same porch. Nice backyard. And Chester's a nice area, and it's growing too.
Beautiful.
It's really booming too. He worked at Fort Lee. He was a civilian by this time, but he was still consulting at Fort Lee.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Very nice gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sharyn, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed getting to meet you and talk to you. I know you finally got to meet Josh a little bit.
Yeah.
And you guys got me to do something that I never do, which is
Be able to come in here.
Just come on out.
yeah.
I know everyone always comes in here and they're like, I don't know what you're getting me into. And I'm like, don't worry. We end up having a great conversation. It's fine.
And it has been. It's been a good environment and a good opportunity, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Glad you enjoyed.
How can people reach you?
They can reach me either on Thumbtack is what I normally, and Thumbtack, I don't know if you know, Thumbtack is kind of like Angie's List,
Okay.
but it just operates a little bit differently. But it's the same thing where you can basically find a pro to do any type of thing you need done for your home.
Perfect.
But that's where I'm at, and I've got some of my pictures from projects and that type of thing on there as
Wow.
well.
All right. Well, just remember that, everybody. It's River City Home Staging, right? And it's Miss Sharyn Mann.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Good to
If you're
see you.
listening to the podcast, make sure to follow us on Spotify and comment down below. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe and share the video. Thank you.
Bye, guys.